Today, what I want to talk about is a struggle with health and going to the doctor in general and urgent cares and things and how it affects me and what my experience was a couple days ago. So I really want to resist the temptation today to spend hours editing a video and taking most of my day off to do that. I can get more content out there more comfortably, I think, if I have less things to edit. So we're going to give this a try and see, but I just really wanted to share with you today my struggles with taking care of my body, taking care of myself, and when I'm sick and don't feel good, going to a doctor or urgent care, how it affects me. See if you can relate to this. On Friday, I was having pain in my left leg, and I was Googling and looking up what it could be, and I was finding things like DVT, which is deep vein thrombosis, Baker's cyst, because I actually felt a knot behind my knee, and that scared me too. And that night I was up in pain till 2:30. I couldn't really sleep. I just took an aspirin in case it was a blood clot because I so dreaded the thought of going to any kind of emergency room that I was just willing to take an aspirin and pray I'd be okay. And I'm betting many of you can definitely relate to that. The atmosphere so bright in the emergency room. It can be loud. It can be some distressing noises to hear, the interacting with other people. When I'm sick, I'm not able to mask at all. So in the emergency room, I would just be sitting there with a blank look on my face and probably just staring at my phone to get away with not looking at other people. But I didn't want to go through all that if I didn't have to. So I got up to go to work on Monday, and I was okay for a little while. And then I was noticing the pain again under my knee, and I got scared, so I asked if I could leave and go to the urgent care. I ended up giving in. I really didn't want to go. I went to urgent care, and she suggested that she send me off to get an ultrasound to see what's going on. So I ended up going and getting an ultrasound, and it was so awkward getting the ultrasound because it was a lady and a student. She asked permission if a student could watch the process, and I was like, sure, even though I didn't want her to. So she looked at the veins in my leg to make sure there was no DVT going on, and it was probably 30 minutes of laying there of the lady concentrating on the screen, the student looking at the screen, and me just staring at the ceiling because there was nowhere else to look. I didn't want to look at either one of them, and I didn't want to close my eyes. It was very awkward, very awkward. At the end, I asked, do you think you saw a DVT? And she's like, well, not really. So the results came back that I had a cyst behind my knee, and that in itself is not a big deal at all. In fact, that was a good thing because it meant I did not have deep vein thrombosis. So I was very glad that it was not something that was a big deal. They said they could drain the cyst if it bothered me enough. So I said, okay, I'll let you know. All of these events having to go to the doctor over the last 2-3 months for whatever I would have to go for, a sprained back, be it whatever. It just reminds me of how I hate the whole process of going to the urgent care, and even more the emergency room. I avoid that like the plague. And then they're asking me questions I can sometimes forget the answers to, embarrassingly things I should know. They want to know when your last colonoscopy is. I don't know. When your last pap smear was, your last mammogram, all these things. It shows me how I'm just not prepared enough. I do not know the answers, and how I need to know those answers before I go those places, what medications I'm allergic to, all those kind of things. It would help to keep a medical notebook, which I'm going to try to start doing. Then it takes a little bit stress off, right? If you have to go to the emergency room or somewhere, you at least have that information. You know when those last big procedures were. Because I had a colonoscopy a few years ago, but I don't know how long ago. And so I don't know when I need one again. I don't know if I want one again. You know, when your kids, your mom has to figure out all that stuff. They have to come up with the answers for the doctors. When you're an adult, you have to remember all of that stuff, all that information. And we don't sometimes. We don't. And for them to give an adequate diagnosis, sometimes we have to give as much information as we can, which is why, because I don't remember what happened in a 2-day period before when I end up going to the urgent care as far as symptoms, I'm going to try to start keeping some kind of notebook where I can read what my symptoms were the day or two before, so it helps me out and it's less stress. And I'll have my medications, all the supplements I take on there. So I want to start like a health journal, so to speak, of when I'm having issues. And that can also include when I go to my psychiatrist, things we talk about, issues I have or want to talk about, just all roundabout. So a health journal that includes my mental well-being and physical well-being, I think will help out the most. So that's the best advice I can give, is for you to start a health journal if you think it will help you out. I'm trying to get better as it comes to my personal hygiene and health as it is, labeling my toothbrushes so I know when to change them out, labeling my food in the refrigerator as to use by date, so I will throw it out and not use it and my whole family gets sick from it. Trying to do a better job, trying to help myself in whatever way I can. But I would love for you to share any tips you have down below as when it comes to taking care of your physical or mental health. And also I'd love to know, what strategies do you use? And how do you feel when you have to go to a doctor's office? How does it affect you? And I hope you like this mostly unedited, just straight talk with you about what I wanted to say in this video. I appreciate this community, and I appreciate you, and I appreciate you as always watching my videos and supporting this channel. And I hope we support each other in our journey of autism and share. We'll talk to you next time. Bye.